Hey guys, so we are jumping in the car. We're gonna head to our local nursery. They just got a delivery of a bunch of vegetables and super excited to, jump on board with that quickly before they sell out. But we're gonna pick up some peppers, a few tomatoes, and see what else they have going on. It is 58 degrees today, overcast, so it's a little bit chilly. At least in South Texas, it's chilly. And I think the high today is like 72. I'm really hoping the sun's gonna come out and visit at some point today, but want to pick up a couple of things in the nursery, so I thought I'd take you along. So I'm going to get buckled up, take a sip of my drink. Gotta get a little bit of energy and get ready for this trip. Let's do this. Hey everybody, we are ready to start the spring garden projects. We've got a lot going on. I'm just kind of jumping into an unstructured video, but it is the month of February and things are starting to warm up a little bit. Honestly, I think it might be a little bit of a tease. I'm afraid to do too much in the garden and then a hard freeze. And this is just a reminder, this is South Texas Zone 8B. And this year is a little bit different than years past. As you can see, I've got some painting going on in the garden shed. Was hoping to get some of that done before the spring so I could start spring seeding, but that didn't happen. So this year we're not going to be doing a lot of seed starting, and we're going to be buying a lot of the plants that are already started from like the local nurseries and stuff. So still going to be working on the project inside the garden shed. In the meantime, I did pick up some stuff from our local nursery. I'll show you the video on that. And we'll start planting some of that today. Super excited. So let's just dive right into what we've got going on. Okay, so one of the first things I'm gonna do today is that I am going to plant all of the peppers that I picked up at the nursery. Now, one of the things I'm trying to recreate was back when we lived in the little casita while we were waiting for our house to be built. And I had all of my garden in containers. And that was one of the best pepper years that I ever experienced. And I've not really had a good pepper year since then. So I'm trying to recreate that by using these Dollar Tree containers, which is exactly what I used the last time. I'm gonna be drilling some holes in the bottom, filling them up with potting soil, and planting at least 2 of the pepper plants in each of these containers. So let's get started. Okay, here's an unexpected twist to this whole project. So these are the exact containers that I got at the Dollar Tree the last time. This was about 2.5, 3 years ago by now. Unfortunately, the quality of these containers versus the quality of the last ones are not the same. So as I was drilling holes in them, you can see they were just busting. I mean, here's the difference. This is the old one. Perfectly round, beautiful holes. They're a lot more flexible. But this is more hard plasticky than I had anticipated. So anyway, we're just gonna work with it. But all of the new containers now have holes. They're ugly, but they will serve the purpose of making sure that there is drainage in the bottom of these. But the sad part is I don't think these are gonna last as long as the original ones because of the quality difference. So we're just gonna make do with what we have. All right, so I'm gonna fill each of these containers with a little bit of this raised bed mix, and then I'm gonna do the majority of it with the Miracle-Gro, because the last time I did this, I did it with all Miracle-Gro. But to save on the Miracle-Gro, because it was a lot more expensive, I have this raised bed mix that I'm just gonna use to kind of fill some of the bottom. that was not very graceful, I'll admit. But now we have all of our Miracle-Gro on the top, and now we can start planting the peppers. All right, I've got my peppers. These are the jalapenos. I'm going to plant 2 into these containers. And one of the things I liked about this stage or age, if you will, of this pepper plant is that it is right at the part where I get to top them off. And so when you want a fuller, more robust pepper plant that's going to be much more prolific, you really have to do the hardest thing, which is to top off them at the top at a certain stage of their growth. And what I have read and heard is that at each what they call nodes, which is where all the leaves kind of come together on the main stem, if you can count 3 nodes up, clip the top, and then that way all the energy is forced down to the other leaves at the bottom and they grow out as opposed to growing very tall. And okay, now what we're gonna do is we're going to replace this dead peach tree with the new one that I bought today. So I'm gonna go ahead and start planting that. All right, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be planting some potatoes. So I have my in-ground bed here. I just have a small border of bricks around it. I have garlic on probably 75% of my 12-foot bed, and then this little corner I'm going to stick some potatoes. And all I did was just pull the weeds out, and then I added a bag of 40 pounds of mushroom compost that I get at the local nursery. So let me show you the seed potatoes that I purchased at Tractor Supply. We have got Russet Norcota potatoes, seed potatoes. And then we have Yukon Gold. So I'll be sticking those in the dirt. I'm not gonna water them in. One of the mistakes that I made in the past is that I just watered thinking it needed water like every other plant, and it really doesn't. It will do its own thing and naturally be watered by the rainwater that we do receive. But it doesn't like to be too wet, or your potatoes are gonna be nice and soggy when you get ready to harvest them. So I'm really just gonna stick them in here and be done. That's it, it's gonna take care of itself. So let's jump in. All right, I opened up the seed potato bags and I noticed that there are several eyes on these. And to make these go a lot further, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them, quarter them, where each piece has one of these eyes on it. And then that way I can spread the potatoes and get more potatoes out of one single potato instead of burying this whole thing. You can bury this whole thing and that's not a problem. But for me, because I only bought 1 bag this year of each of the 2 that I mentioned earlier, I want them to go a lot further. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them. But here's the thing. What I understand is once you cut them, you don't wanna bury them right away. You wanna let them sit at least overnight or until the skin where you freshly cut is kind of got its a stronger barrier, or it's not fresh and exposed. And I would imagine that's where disease and stuff starts to develop. So I'm gonna cut these, I'm gonna put them in these containers, and I'm gonna let them sit and just keep an eye on them until they can start forming that like rough exterior surface on those cuts. I hope that makes sense. Here's my potato. So I'm going to tactfully cut my pieces. So now I have 4 pieces that I can plant in each spot as opposed to 1. that is a wrap for today's video. I hope you had fun hanging out with me in the garden. This was a real productive day. We went to the nursery and picked up a peach tree, some peppers and tomatoes. We planted those peppers and that peach tree, and then we even had some time to dig up the in-ground bed and plant some potato seeds. So got a lot done, feeling good about it. It's not really windy, it's not super hot. So a good day in the garden for sure. I hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you next time on the next video. Bye.